All right, welcome back. We are going to do a video on how to graph logarithms. So just as a review before your logarithm quiz. Before we start, we'd like to thank our corporate sponsors, StickyFeetReptiles.com. We're always open to other sponsors as well, so feel free to leave a comment or email me. So our base function here, we have the function of 2 log base 4 of x plus 3 minus 2. So you'll see I have it broken down into the pieces, right? We have our base function here, the log base 4 of x, and to that function we have a multiplier of 2 in the front as our a value. We have a plus 3 on the inside acting as our h, so we do the opposite of that. So we'll move that to the left 3 as our horizontal shift. And we have our k value on the outside, this negative 2, which will take it on a vertical shift, moving it down 2. So the first thing I want to do is make an xy table. In order to make an xy table, I'm going to take my base function that y equals log base 4 of x, that's logarithmic form, and I'm going to change it over to exponential form and make it 4 to the y equals x. Once I do that, I'm going to pick values of negative 2 to 2 to go in for my y. If I do that, 4 to the negative second is like 1 over 4 squared. That becomes 1/16. 4 to the negative first, a fourth. Anything to the 0 is 1. 4 to the first is 4, and 4 squared is 16, creating this base xy table for me. Now that I have that base xy table, I can take all of the different shifts or multipliers and attach it to my table. So in black, you'll see my original xy table here. And then the first thing I'm going to do, because I had a multiplier of 2, I'm going to take my y value and I'm going to multiply all of those by 2. So 2 and negative 2. Negative 1 and 2, 0 and 2, 1 and 2, and 2 and 2 gives me these new y values here. Then I'm going to say, well, because I have a horizontal shift, right? Horizontal shift goes left and right. That affects my x values. So I'm going to take all of the x values and subtract 3. So 1/16 minus 3, 1/4 minus 3, and so on. And you can see these are my new x values that I created. Then up here, you'll notice I have 2y minus 2. So not only was there a vertical shift of negative 2, but that vertical shift occurs after my multiplier. So my multiplier was 2 times y. That's why I have that 2 times y, the multiplied graph, minus 2. So I'm going to take this column and subtract 2. So negative 4 minus 2, negative 2 minus 2, 0 minus 2, etc. And then what I have outlined in red here, that's my final xy table. So if I just graph those xy points, that's going to be my final curve for that logarithmic function. Right? Most of the time, when you're asked to graph these, you'll also be asked for domain range and where the asymptote is. Right? The asymptote we figure out by, it always starts as x equals 0. Because we shifted it 3 to the left, right, that negative 3, then the asymptote gets shifted to x equals negative 3 as well. If the asymptote to x is negative 3 and my graph is going to the right, then my domain would also have to be greater than negative 3. Can't equal the asymptote, just greater than. And our range, because these go down and up, positive and negative infinity, it will always be all real numbers. So to show you the actual graph, I'm going to use my dear friends at desmos.com, and we're going to go over all forms of the graph: the original, the multiplier, the horizontal shift, and the vertical shift. So if you look what I have graphed here, right, this here is my original log base 4 of x. Okay, nothing happening to it, just the original parent function of this graph. Then you can see if I just multiply it by 2, it takes all my y values and multiplies them all by 2. If I add 3 on the inside, that moves it to the left 3, so you'll see that there in green. And if I subtract 2, it moves it down. So that purple curve is my final curve. That should be our final xy table that we had. But you can see it in all stages, right? We started off with the red, the original. We multiplied it all, got our blue curve. We moved it to the left 3, the green, and then down 2 to get the purple. So that's it for our graphing video. Thanks again to desmos.com. We really love their computer program. Makes graphing so much easier. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment if there's any kind of video that you'd like us to do. Thank you very much.